How to Come Out Smelling Like a Rose When You Fall in the Mud by Samantha Vocatura. I proudly stand before you to inspire hope in those who struggle with their mental health. When I was 14, I fell in the mud and I fell hard. Depression and anxiety completely consumed me. It felt like I was stuck in quicksand with no idea how to get out. The problem was, depression and anxiety weren't even words in my vocabulary when I was 14. I was uneducated, confused, and deeply embarrassed for my struggle. I went from being a straight A 3-sport varsity athlete to almost failing out of high school, too ashamed to face my friends or teachers. After desperately exhausting all possible treatment options, I was left feeling hopeless. I thought my life was over, the depression eating me alive from the inside out. Sitting in the desert of Utah at 16 years old in a therapeutic wilderness program, I decided to believe that I could survive this. It was then that I remembered my mother's words. She had once told me that the greatest source of happiness comes from helping others. With this newfound purpose and sense of accomplishment, I was able to overcome my struggle. I began to volunteer at Love Lane, a therapeutic horseback riding facility for special needs kids. 10 years later, at age 26, I am still a weekly volunteer. Gratitude and happiness flooded back into my heart, seeing kids unable to walk smile wide on their face as they felt the movement of the horse beneath them. The gift of giving was the catalyst that forever changed the trajectory of my life. From failing physics my freshman year to winning an aviation design challenge state championship my junior year, I was rewriting my story. My mother and I began to receive phone calls and messages from strangers whose children had been hospitalized due to attempted suicide. They had heard my story and asked if I'd be willing to share any insight that might help their child overcome just like I had. Hours later, I would leave their house, seeing hope and gratitude in their eyes that were previously wrought with fear and despair for their child. I had found my purpose. I started making videos sharing my story and posting them on social media to destigmatize mental health. The hundreds of DMs and comments expressing gratitude for the impact I was making brought tears to my eyes. I interviewed other kids who had overcome similar struggles to add even more insight on my social media. I was then asked to speak at my old high school at all-school meeting. One student came up to me afterwards, tears in his eyes. He told me that McGill was his dream school, but he was currently experiencing the same depression and anxiety that I had. He told me that I had given him hope, that he too could attend McGill one day. 1 in 10 young people in the US live with depression. 1 in 8 women will experience depression in their life. About 280 million people worldwide will experience depression, according to the WHO. Depression affects all age groups. About 1.9 million children, aged 3 to 17, have a diagnosis of depression. About 20% of adults in the US, which is equivalent to 50 million Americans, live with mental illness. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged 15 to 24. Nearly 20% of high school students have reported serious thoughts of suicide, and 9% have attempted to take their own life. We can prevent suicide by inspiring hope in those who struggle with their mental health. I partnered with an organization called Minding Your Minds, whose mission is to create hope by telling stories. I spent a year training with them to craft a 40-minute presentation to share at high schools and middle schools across the country to educate and destigmatize mental health. Creating this presentation is the accomplishment that I am most deeply proud of, because I am now able to truly impact young adults and teenagers with my words.
I'm Justin Spitzer, and I've been teaching history at therapeutic high schools since 2007. We support students in their recovery by engaging and challenging them therapeutically, socially, and academically, and help them see that their future college and career dreams are still fully attainable. I was so fortunate to have Samantha as a student in my Honors U.S. History class. She's one of the best and most enjoyable students that I've ever worked with. I'm so proud of Samantha and admire her courage in sharing her mental health journey with others and her commitment to helping them. This is an issue that is too often stigmatized, downplayed, or misunderstood. But it comes as no surprise to me that Samantha is tackling this with the same 100% effort that she brought to the classroom every day. Her work is boosting awareness of mental health struggles, highlighting treatment options, and most importantly of all, offering hope to so many.
If a woman had walked into my high school when I was 14 with a crown on her head and told me that she had felt just as hopeless as I did, it would have changed my life, because it would have made me believe that I was capable of going on to reach my wildest dreams.